And managing that wounded inner child, right? That's the person who wants to be heard. I mean, I say all the time, the adult me is fine. The wounded inner child me is trying to be heard and trying to be validated by something, but it no longer, my wounded inner child no longer needs to be validated by anybody else but me.
Roll me, Mac.
What has life taught you about growing up to this point at 40? Well, life has taught many of things, at least from my perspective. I've learned to solely rely upon yourself. Not to say that you don't take help from others, but solely rely upon yourself and truly believe in yourself. And no matter how many people try to project their limitations onto you, especially when it comes to whatever business endeavor that you may want to tackle, something you may want to do, a dream or a business idea, passion, going to school, going back to school, whatever it is, you're too old, you're too young, whatever the situation is, don't allow them to put that onto you. Be able to say, fuck it, I'm going to do it anyway, and I accept the consequences of my actions for sticking with the said task and believing in yourself. Another thing I've learned is that I'm a lot stronger than I'll give myself credit for. And I believe that's the same for all of us. You know what I'm saying? Like, we can get trapped inside of our head, and our head likes to find what's wrong. Likes to solve problems. It's a problem solver. That's what our brain is. Essentially, that's one of the main functions of the brain, is to figure out what's wrong, to solve an issue. So sometimes in your mind, you'll create issues that are not even there. You'll assume things. You'll beat yourself up. You'll say that you're the worst person ever. You'll, like, as if you're special in a sense from anybody else that's human here on this earth, but you're just as human as everybody. And what that means is that you're just as valuable as far as your thoughts, the things that you want to do, the things that you want to say. At times, you can say those things, but just be very mindful how you say it. You know what I mean? To express yourself, and recognizing your audience too when you do express yourself, in the sense of, like, if I say it this way, is it going to be received well? Don't get me wrong. A lot of times when we say certain shit, regardless of how it's said, it's not going to be received well. But we are in charge of the delivery. Just like I said, just believe in yourself and have that courage to overcome the naysayers, the people that want to kind of shut down and don't want you to shine more than them. Not purposely, just it's just a natural reaction to an insecurity, and we're just remembering to not take it personal. Don't make assumptions. Don't get so lost inside your mind. And I definitely have moments in my mind where I certainly do get trapped inside my head, and I'm feeling that no one understands. No one understands me. No one understands the situation. No one understands what I'm working towards. No one understands why I live the way that I live, and I'm not special. You know what I'm saying? I'm not special, but not one bit. Maybe unique, but not special. To me, that's the difference. I say all the time that I equate, special to a sense of entitlement, and I'm not entitled to anything. But I've definitely worked and earned stature. I can say that about myself, but I've been through some things in my life getting to 40 that has allowed me to be like, you know what? I have that confidence that I can get through this thing. I'm able to get over this hurdle just as much as I got over the other hurdles. I've made it through 100% of my bad days, how I looked at it as bad days, you know what I'm saying? Another thing, life has taught me getting to 40 is that your time waits for no one. Time waits for no one, and it goes by in a flash, yo. Like, I love to talk with the youth, right? Because now I understand how fast this shit goes by. Like, to get to 40, to look at your peers, to look at people you grew up with, to see them with their families, to see, how I react with my own family, how I react with the people around me in my day-to-day life, and, and all that stuff. And I look at their kids, and I see a part of me that used to be that. I was once that kid that, thought the world revolved around me. I believe that, everything happened because of me. I was never good enough. I have to be this way in order to be seen. I have to be this way in order to be loved. And it's all a crock of shit. As you get older, you recognize, man, that you were already dope, man. You were born that way. You were born unique. Each of us were made uniquely different from one another. We may do some things in similarities. We might have common, things that we do and say, and social groups and all that stuff, but there's something about us that is all we're uniquely made differently. I believe that. And I can see, like I said, I see a lot of myself in that, wanting to chase your dreams, wanting to make it to the NBA, wanting to be a rap star, wanting to be a music producer, wanting to do all these things, but not having to follow through too. It's one thing to say it and it sounds good. You get a nice dopamine boost when you talk about all the dreams that you like to have. I want to go here. Like, for right now, the dream that I live with is going to Bora Bora. I am determined, you know what I mean? So it's been that way since 2009 when I saw Bora Bora displayed in Couples Retreat, the comedy movie. But how are you going to get there? What plan has been put in action in order for you to get there? I mean, yeah, it's great to talk about it, but what are you going to do? How are you going to get it? And a lot of us just do a lot of talking, you know what I'm saying? Like, we can talk about dreams. I mean, we did that as kids. Some of us still do that. And I shout out to every dreamer that is still living, regardless if you're a child or, getting older in age, and you just don't give up on things. But remembering to live in the present moment. I'm a firm advocate for living in the present moment, as many who are close to me know. But definitely, if you have a passion, if there's something that you can work on that brings you peace, that brings you a sense of, relaxation and stuff like that, and that you're great at it, I believe that you continue to work at it. And there's no time limit to when that's going to happen. It happens for some when they're younger, it happens for some when they're older. You just never know. And I'm just looking to find out. I guess that's really what it is, and I've learned that, making it to 40, that life has taught me to just keep going, because you just never know who you're inspiring, who you're influencing, the brain that you're sparking just by doing your passion, doing your talent. And yeah, you might not have done it in 15, 20 years. You might be good at painting. You might be, you could be good at craft shit. You could be good at crafting. You could be good at working on cars. You could be good at being a good talker. You know what I'm saying? Like, you could be good, like, talking on radio, being able to do music, if you will. Being able, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can still sing. You can sing, but do it for a hobby. You never know what just might happen. You know what I'm saying? That's just me plugging in those seeds, hopefully, for others to grow and hopefully they want to achieve their dreams and stuff like that. Outside of just doing what you do for work. Some of us do what we love for work, and that's great for some of us. But some of us are just working to pay bills, working to get to work, saving towards wealth. Some of us are working toward doing our passion. It really just matters. Some people are just fine with just working too, and that's okay too. That's another thing I've learned with 40 is like being okay with not being a superstar. I know I was caught up in my own insecurity when it came to wanting to be a star, a superstar, music producer, rap star, singer, you name it, all the things that we're programmed to become, especially like I say in the Black community, by watching TV and all that stuff. But you'd be amazed how remarkable the people you meet just by having conversations with them, is to know how dope some people are. That's kind of like why I do my the Interview with Rome podcast. It's ordinary, doing interviews with ordinary people with extraordinary stories and extraordinary minds, because I would like to bring out what you have, you know what I'm saying, like your story, and showing why I find you to be dope, why I wanted to have a conversation with you and see how influencing and inspiring that you are to others, even though you may feel like you're not, but I just believe you are. You know what I mean? And we all just work together. It's like a community-based thing. I'm not really much on like just being into the group and being with people and all that stuff. But there does come time when to have those conversations and to talk to people and kind of engage with others. But yeah, for the most part, I'm good with just being to self, to being able to read books, listen to music, write out show material, come up with content, write out goals, listen to affirmations, read affirmations, and kind of get your mind together so that you can go out and tackle this shit, because it's not easy. It's not easy. Sometimes your mind gets the best of you. I can say recently that my mind really got the best of me, and I know it's, like I said, it's solely on me. It's just a mind fuck. It's not real. It's literally, your thoughts they're not real. So it's like continuously observing but not absorbing, and don't project those thoughts that you have, because it could be detrimental. You know what I'm saying? So what stays in your mind stays in your mind. You just don't have to act on it. And getting to 40 and seeing that the only thing that changes is technology, but seeing the same shit happen when you talk to people younger than you or even older than you, and they tell you that, oh, I remember that, I had the same situation happen for me. Or talking to somebody younger than you, and they're going through something, let's say in school or something in college, or even early in the Navy or the Air Force, or the people that come around early in college, and you just listen to them talk, and it's like, oh yeah, we're all the same. And what that does is it gives us no room to judge, more so to observe and adapt and have grace, really, and share whatever wisdom that you may have from the mistakes that, some of us look at them as mistakes. Looking back, a lot of things that we did, we could have turned left instead of right at that fork in the road. But it's all part of the journey. It's all part of life, and I'm just grateful to make it this far, and be able to see things the way that I do see things now, and learn a sense of calm. You know what I'm saying? Like learning to be just have a very peaceful energy about oneself. Again, not 100%, not 100% because no one is perfect, you know, but that to practice that stoicism on a day-to-day basis and what you're dealing with in situations that are meant to take you out of your square, and you just remain calm, you make better decisions. You can give better advice when you're calm about things, as to where you're coming very erratic and emotional. And when, you know, when somebody comes to you with something, or you go to them with something, you know, cooler minds make better decisions. And that's something I've learned definitely getting to 40, is to have that sense of calmness and peace, and to not take anything fucking personal, man. Like it's nothing anyone does is about you. We can come up with all the assumptions in our mind. Those assumptions are based off our own insecurities. I believe that. That's what I believe, is that whenever, you know, I get in my own way, get inside my own head, and I create an entire story behind something that this person did, and it's really just about me. It's about me and my interpretation of that, the movie that I'm creating, the part that I gave that person, and they didn't ask for it. So, but I mean, don't get me wrong. When things happen, just accept it, right? You know, there's times you can have assumptions about things, and sometimes those assumptions may come to fruition. But be willing to accept what you see, and I think that's what life has taught me: being willing to accept everything that happens. You know, everything that happens is being done for you, not to you. Just certain things, you know, and nothing, you know, and learning another thing in 40 is learning that nothing lasts forever. Yeah, nothing lasts forever. So appreciate the present moment, man. And you just never know. You never know when time's up. You never know when it's when it is time to move on, when it is time to elevate, when it is time to end this, when it is time to just be, you know. And sometimes we get, you know, there's you know, we can form attachments to things, people in our life, but everything's meant to flow, you know, it's meant to flow. So learn to move with the flow. So yeah, I mean, life has taught me a hell of a lot more at 40. That's what I'm sharing for this one. What will you fight for until the day that you die? I will fight to be heard. I will fight to be seen, not by my peers. I mean, that's I think that just comes with the territory, but more like being heard and seen and loved by myself. I believe if I can do that, if I learn how to master that, everything else, you know, takes care of itself. I don't have to rely upon something external to validate me anymore. And waiting for somebody to give you love, you'll be waiting forever. And because you have no control over it, man. But to be able to see yourself, man, and not have to spaz out and try to be seen. Like, look at me, I'm enough. You know, you don't have to look for that. You don't have to question whether you are enough. You can just be confident in the fact that you are enough just by being each day, taking each day as it comes, and moving forward with so much grace for others, and seeing when people do project at you, onto you, to really just not take anything personal. And when people try to project onto you, just don't take it personal. Have grace, but distance yourself, if need be, avoiding the unhappy and the unlucky, because it is vital, because negativity is contagious just as much as positivity is contagious. And being around people that are negative, man, it only takes a matter of time before that poison seeps into your system. It's secondhand smoke, so it's like you got to be very mindful of the people you're around, man. And because some people just love to find out what's wrong with the day. And then there's people who love to learn what's right with the day. And when you get around those people that constantly are looking for, something that's wrong, they can find something wrong with just about anything. It's programming. It's not, you just feel for them, you know what I mean? But don't let that shit become you. Stay away from that shit. Some people just really get up every day and just try to find shit to tear down, try to find shit to hate on, whether that's somebody trying to, build a business or somebody that's made it and they try to shit on that. I never forget being in high school and hearing girls in school saying, fuck Beyonce. Like, what? I'm like, what the fuck did this bitch do to you? You know what I mean? And, or anybody else, you know what I'm saying, that like had a name for themselves. It's just like, oh, fuck them, we don't like them, or sometimes it turns into like a race thing, you know what I mean? Like a complexion thing, like, fuck Beyonce, we like Kelly anyway. And it's like, why does it have to be a race thing? Or I mean, like not a race thing, but why does it have to be like a complexion thing? You know what I'm saying? Like to that degree, why not just support or whatever you're into? Like if you don't like Beyonce, you don't have to say fuck Beyonce. You can just I like Kelly. You know what I'm saying? Ain't gotta, you know what I'm saying? I don't have to be to the point where you gotta shit on somebody. Just be very mindful of being around people who are just commonly just negative, man. Ask yourself how you feel when you're around them. Do they come off draining? Are they becoming anchors? Do they feel like a downer? Sometimes you gotta get the fuck away. Honestly, you got to get the fuck away, man. Some people get really caught up in just wanting to tear down shit, and I just ain't for it no more. You know what I mean? There's too much going on for me to work on to be talking about what another person's doing, and I don't give a fuck about celebrity news either. You know what I mean? So that's, to me, it's much ado about nothing, and it has nothing to do with us. You know what I'm saying? Like that shit is still weird to me that we've been programmed to focus on another person's life. Yet we'd be pissed if somebody was talking about us and putting it on blast. You know what I mean? And it's like, well, so what's the difference? Why? Because they're entertainers? Sure. I guess. Hey, yeah, sure. Okay. We'll go with that one. They're entertainers, and that's why we need to discuss why this person was dating this person and what we think was going on. And yeah, it is what it is. I mean, getting back to the topic at hand, yeah, I won't stop fighting for my voice to be heard, and to be seen, and to like I said, just focusing on myself and developing a confidence, and also like that stoicism to where I don't feel the need to prove myself to anybody, and managing that wounded inner child, right? That's the person who wants to be heard. I mean, I say all the time, the adult me is fine. The wounded inner child me is trying to be heard and trying to be validated by something, but my wounded inner child no longer needs to be validated by anybody else but me. You know what I'm saying? If you don't have it by now, especially if you're trying to get it from your parents, that's pretty much it. They gave you all they have as far as they know, what they're willing to do right now. I mean, because there's always room for growth. But as far as what they have right now, that is all they had that they could give you. And it's hard for us to believe that shit, but we also didn't experience life the way that they did. So who am I to say that, my parents didn't give me this? And at one point in time, I did feel that way. I'll be honest with you, but I believe now, looking back at a lot of things, when I stop thinking about myself and look at it from another person's perspective, is that they gave me all they had. Sure, I might have learned something along the way, and that might seem a little different. Like, why couldn't they have done that? Or why didn't they do this? I'm sure there's a list of things that my kid could come up with, the things that she's learned for herself. And like, why didn't you do this? I gave you what I had. To the best of my abilities. That's with all my insecurities and all my fears at once, and I think that's all any parent can really do. Any person can really do. I mean, if you want to do better, just learn more. And I mean, that's how you do it. And some people stop learning. Some people feel like once you turn 18 or whatever age, or when their kid gets grown, they stop learning. They stop learning how to be a better parent. They stop learning how to be a better person. And some people are okay with that, and that's fine. It's not to, press on, press people about or judge people about anything. But I find life to be very fascinating, so I do what I can to try to learn something new every day, and really learn myself too, and do my best to not, project those insecurities, especially when it comes to love. That's a whole other ball game, and I think that's why there was a lot of suppressing to kind of keep away from those emotions. So it's like a fear of dealing with those emotions, you know what I mean? Of being emotionally unavailable in a sense. But never stop fighting for your voice. Never stop fighting to be heard. Never stop trying to figure out your desires, your wants, your needs. The again, how you see things. Having a perspective and not being around and getting away from people who dismiss you having a perspective because they have a need to be right. I think that's very important and very key. Some of us have conversations with people that just have a need to be right. So if you say anything that goes against what they believe in, they're going to dismiss you and be like, that ain't it. Instead of listening to have another perspective on something. I don't necessarily have to agree with your perspective, but I can listen to you and allow you to feel heard the same way I would want you to, and allow you to feel heard the same way I want me to be heard. But not everybody thinks like that. Nobody, they sometimes we're so focused on ourselves, and our beliefs that we won't have that conversation, but all you have to do is listen. That's it, man. Just listen. Listening opens up more conversation. It opens up more doors, to open and networking and things like such. But, that's what I'll fight for until I die, is that voice, really, and being able to make myself feel seen, heard, and loved. What group before your time did you love growing up? The Temptations. There was this Motown 1960s CD that my dad had. I just so happened to go through the Rolodex of what he had for CDs, and that's how I found different music. Like if it was something on a TV show or a movie that was made popular, even if it was before my time, I would kind of listen to it. And there was this one CD, Motown. It had Shotgun by Junior Walker and the All-Stars. It had My Girl, The Temptations. It had what's the joint? Shop Around by Smokey Robinson and the Miracles. It's just all the Motown hits and stuff. And I think Michael too. I think they had ABC or one of those tracks up there. But I just kept playing. I kept playing Temptations, that one song all the time. And sure enough, they do a biopic in '98. I was in 8th grade, and I remember it came on NBC. It was 2 nights that they showed it, and I watched it with my mom in her room. We watched it, and then to finish it up the next day. The last part came on that Monday, And eventually it came out on DVD or VHS, whichever it was at the time. I think by then it was DVD. Right? No, it wasn't DVD yet. Yeah, I think we had it on like one of them shits. We had it on VHS or DVD. And when I tell you I watched that shit every fucking day after school, and I just came infatuated with the music that was in there. You know, I like before like even it would trip me out that the song that I was digging wasn't even chosen to be on the album, Paradise by the Temptations. You get a chance to listen to that, but it was just how Eddie and Blue looked when they were doing it. I thought it was just so smooth. And Paul was very smooth too. His character, the cat that played him, he definitely did not disappoint. He, he did his thing. But the Temptations, I would say I played them out, and then once I got older, I got the anthology, so I was able to listen to more. But the group that was before my time that I enjoyed to listen to growing up was certainly the Temptations. What did all your relationships of the past combined teach you? All right. Well, it taught me how I tend to go towards like when there's that head over heels feeling, I tend to go towards the emotionally unavailable, like a motherfucker, because it's familiar. You know what I mean? It's not necessarily what's best for me. That's most of the time I believe why those things didn't work out. That's why the universe had it to where we're no longer in communication, and recognizing that, that you go towards the brass ring that you can never touch. It's interesting how that works. Somebody can be dead in your face talking about, I'm prepared to love you. And here you are chasing after that toxic motherfucker way over there. Because I got to get that ring. I got to have that brass, But, and that's not for that person to feel any type of way. I mean, everyone might be doing the same thing as me, just chasing, again, a form of chasing me, who is the emotionally unavailable for them at that particular time, right? But it taught me that, and, it's like learning to recognize it. And then, all right, well, what do you do with it now? Are you going to work on yourself just a little bit more, with a little bit more focus, or are you going to just, keep repeating the wheel, and just get going in the same cycle? I guess time will tell, right? Or time has told, in the sense, but. Like I look at, that's something that I've learned from that. I've learned that you definitely cannot negotiate genuine burning desire. There's a difference. You can feel the energy in a woman when she's really into you, and you can feel when she pulls away and when she's no longer, she has an interest as she once did. You know what I'm saying? Actions will speak louder than any word can ever, be uttered, text to you, or, said on the phone, said in person. The action is that, when there's a contrast between what is being said and what's being done, definitely believe what's being done. And what that taught me was to accept, right? I was trying to control. That's another thing about my past relationships. I definitely tried to control out of fear of abandonment. And yeah. No sugarcoating it. That's what it was. It was a fear. It was just I was reliving childhood situations without even recognizing. It's like The Body Keeps Score. That's a good book too. But yeah, The Body Keeps Score, and just recognizing that you are trying to control what is around you instead of just focusing on yourself, which is really the only type of control that you have. But trying to control others, yeah, that's not, I don't, it's not real. It's not really love. It's control. And that's why I tried to learn that concept that love is about appreciation and not possession. A person can do whatever it is they want to do, and they don't have nothing to do with you. And there were plenty of moments where I stayed longer than I really could have. Let's say that. I won't say should. I do my best to not say should, but I stayed longer than I could have. I could have left much sooner, but God in the universe wanted to teach me a lesson. And when I stayed entirely too long, God did what He had to do and removed me because He knew that I wouldn't. That's how attached I was to this toxic connection that I have formed, because it seems so familiar. Again, that emotionally unavailable connection, man, just wanting to go after what doesn't want you, who doesn't choose you, who doesn't have that genuine burning desire for you, who might have found you of use at one point in time, but since then has moved on mentally. You know what I'm saying? It might not have done it in the physical, but moved on mentally. So they treat you a little bit differently than they once did, and that's where acceptance comes in. Because why do you keep going back to it? That's the question one must have to ask. Why do you keep tolerating and encouraging this behavior to go on? Why are you teaching them that it's okay to treat you this way? That's the question that I had to ask, when I was in that. And it taught, like I said, it definitely taught me how to love myself a hell of a lot better, and to do away with the fairy tale shit and thinking that this is how relationships go. Yeah, you have this idea that people go through shit, and you have this idea that relationships are meant to go. That is the yelling. It is the arguing in the middle of a fucking busy street in Fort Lauderdale. It is arguing in front of family. It is these things, and that's love. No. For me, it's not a healthy form of love. And I look at that. I just see two kids projecting their fears. They're being afraid to be seen. They're being afraid of being abandoned. They're being afraid of being hurt, and they're projecting onto one another. And by yelling at one, like a child trying to be seen, trying to be heard, throwing a tantrum. That's really what it is. From far away, you can see two 5-year-olds having they're throwing a tantrum at one another. And you live and you learn. You look at yourself. Looking back at it, you can laugh. I mean, in the moment, you were too attached with your emotions, so it ain't really funny when you're in it. But when you're able to grow up, to look back at your life and be like, you know what, man, I was young, I was immature, I didn't know any better. I was trying to be seen, heard, and loved, and I threw a tantrum because I didn't feel like I was being seen, heard, and loved. So I wanted to be seen. I was having attention-seeking behavior. And congratulations, you're human. This is part of it. And I don't care who you are. I don't care, from the toughest man to the softest woman. You're a fucking human. End of the day, and you will slip up. The beauty, I believe, is more so when you establish healthier boundaries for yourself. That we're like, okay, I understand you going through something, but I'm not able to take that secondhand smoke over here. Like, keep that poison over there. I don't want no toxicity in my shit. I'm okay over here. You know what I mean? But some of us really don't recognize that we're in it until we're in it. It's like being in that storm, being like in a tornado. Everybody on the outside is looking at you. You're going through chaos on the inside because you're inside your mind, and the abandonment issues that you didn't deal with, or weren't taught to deal with as a kid, they're now coming out in your personal lives. They're coming out in your personal relationships. You believe this person's going to leave. because that's what everybody else did. You believe that you need to run before they do because you got to save yourself. And that's one way to get love. Right? But I mean, that's what we fucking do. It's what we did and, are doing, it's just recognizing how human we are. You gotta laugh at us. You gotta laugh at humans. And not like in a tear down way, but more like get over yourself, just remembering that you're human and it's okay to be afraid too. It's okay to have fears. Just don't project them, especially if you're a man. Don't show your fears. I mean, you can express your fear, but don't show it, don't project that shit. You don't want to lose respect as a man. And that's how we feel love. We feel love through respect. And if a woman no longer respects you, she no longer loves you. And if she don't love you, then why are you there? And that's just my theory. I'll take respect over anything. I repeat that every episode I can. I'll take respect over anything. If you do not respect me, or have the audacity to tell me that you love me, that's manipulation. That to me, that's how I see it. But anyway, yeah, I mean, those past relationships taught me that a person evolves. A person can outgrow the version of you that they believe that you are, and nothing lasts forever. I think that's something that one can appreciate, and it's not to look at it in a negative sense. Like, just understand that nothing lasts forever. We're not all gonna stay here forever. People die every day. People die every day. So enjoy it while you can. Breakups happen all the time, and appreciate the present moment with them while you still have it. You just never know what can happen. Do your best to treat every day like the first day you met them. So lose that entitlement, lose the expectations, and lose the ego. But when we get in relationships and we get into connections with others, all those feelings that we tried to bury from our childhood that were damaging, they come out front and center. And then now you're trying to manage those emotions, and now you want that person to be responsible for your insecurities, for what another person did or what you did, what you went through. And it's not fair. It's not fair to do it, but we do it. I mean, that's just what it is. It's because you're looking for that parent figure, right? Not purposely, but in a relationship, in a connection, and whatever, a bond, whatever you want to call it. There's a part of you that gets so wrapped up in, an enchantment with this person that you inadvertently try to get them to become your parent, father, mother. You know what I'm saying? And that's I recognize that's the toxic part. That's where you become toxic. I think that's solely on that person, because that person's not responsible for your happiness. You know what I mean? But you just feel so great around them. You're afraid to leave them, that you want to control your surroundings. And I think we all do it. We all have done it. We're all doing it. What have you, whatever, multiple choice, whichever one is for you, circle, just figure it out, whichever one it is for you. But accept the fact that you're human. And when a person makes a decision that's best for them, don't take it personal. Do not look at that as abandonment. Look at it as they did what was best for them. And that was a lot of realization of the relationships that I was in. And it taught me a lot. I was bitter. I was on some bitter shit for a little bit of time, but thank God for the manosphere. Thank God for learning about, what it is to be masculine. Thank God for mental health, really. Teaching me to self-soothe, heal from the inside. It doesn't mean you'll be 100%, that you won't try to get your happiness externally from time to time, but that's just being caught up in your own thoughts of a person, the idea of a person, but they're just a person. you know. They might feel magical and wonderful, but that's all in our mind. Has nothing to do with them. You know what I mean? You think I'm the shit. I mean, I know I'm the shit, but in your mind, you think I'm the shit, but you think I'm the shit that got to do all the shit that you want. But I'm just the shit because I'm the shit in my mind, and you the shit in your mind. We're both just shit. You get the point. You know what I'm saying? Of the whole premise of the conversation of that particular scenario is they're not responsible for being put on a pedestal by you. And just remember to treat them as human. Anytime we act more than, we try to be more than human, we fuck up. Another common thing I like to say on the show is like, anytime we try to act more than human, we fuck up somehow, some way. And just to remember to be human and have grace and forgive yourself. Have boundaries. Forgive yourself, forgive others, but have healthy boundaries, and don't take anything personal. And yeah, that's, like I said, that's commonly the mindset I like to be in. But overall, those relationships taught me that I kept reliving my childhood. I kept trying to recreate it somehow, some way. And not necessarily the parts that were beneficial for me, that was healthy, but the parts that was recreating the chaos, maybe the trauma, what was familiar, you know what I mean? And that's not, it's not to be upset with yourself. It's more so to just recognize that, so that you can go back to focusing on you. Like, don't get away from trying to look to others to fix you, but to focus on you. And yeah, just very grateful for knowledge, wisdom, mistakes, adversity, pain, overcoming obstacles, overcoming all this shit, and still being here to tell the fucking story. And I'm wishing all those women that I ever been in a relationship with, all those girls, whatever, sending them positive and healing energy in hopes that they are really in a place where they've found their own happiness and not having to rely upon anybody else, and just wishing them nothing but the best. Honestly, I don't have no ill will. Don't get me wrong, my body might keep score of some shit that what somebody done, but personally, I don't care. I don't care enough. It kills me more than it does them to hold a grudge against them. That's punishment for yourself when you hold a grudge against somebody. But just still managing through emotions and battling trust, learning how to trust, learning how to be trustworthy, and a lot of things. You know what I'm saying? But it's a journey, and we're here for it. But anyway. First recorded episode in the new year. New Year's been okay so far. It's been calm, quiet, nothing too crazy going on. Typical shit, work, gym, create content. That's my mindset. But anybody going through anything on this day, I ask that I send you positive and healing energy, navigating through those emotions, whatever it is that you got going on, things that you're prepared for, things that you're not prepared for. But know that you're enough. I'm not able to say that enough, but you're enough. And practice healthy boundaries. Learn what that means for yourself on a day-to-day basis. But I'm Romy Mac, and this is Ask Rome. And I'm out. Good night, kids. What risks are worth taking? I believe it's subjective, but whatever it is that you believe in, I say go for it. That's what I would consider like the risks that are worth taking. If it's love, you get your heart broke, at least you know your heart works. That's one way of looking at it. And or if it's a passion you want to do, if you want to go back to school and you're afraid that you might fail, fuck it. Then you find out when you fail. But y'all family, so it's getting foggy in these glasses. I gotta clean them real quick. But anyway, to me, what's worth it is all about how committed you are to things going wrong or not the ways you want it. So aversion, how well can you deal with aversion will determine how if a risk is worth it. You know what I'm saying? We go through a lot of things in life, man, and some of us are willing to go the distance, and some of us are just you learn the difference between being interested and being committed, right? The chicken was interested, but the pig was committed. He had to give it all up. You know what I mean? And shit like that. But yeah, I just think that like what risks are worth taking. Definitely trying to save yourself is a risk worth taking. Learning how to heal from within, learning to distance yourself from the matrix. That's a risk. I recommend everyone remove yourself from the fucking matrix that is programmed us to be controlled and to act the very same way that somebody else would want us to react. And for those people who don't engage in the matrix are looked at as crazy, talking, they're just talking out their ass or whatever they can come up with instead of doing what everyone else is doing. If everybody else is doing it, it's for a reason. You know what I mean? It's like recognizing the programming. And to me, that's a risk worth taking, is removing yourself from the matrix. Another risk worth taking is finding out how strong you are, right? What passions that you have, what goals can you achieve? Write out goals. That's a risk every year, to write out goals, be it one, be it two. Start out with just one and achieve that goal so that you can gain more confidence to accomplish other goals. I mean, yeah, we grew up around, some of us might have grew up around some people that always looked on, negative Nancy's and shit, and try to tear us down for trying to better ourselves. But there's so many other people in the world with the same personality and mindset as you that are trying to better themselves, and they're not gonna tear you down for trying to do it. They're not going to shit on you. They're not going to project their insecurities. They're going to encourage you. They're going to inspire you. You got one in front of you right here for sure. And I'm not the only one, because I was influenced and by others that did the same thing. And I just find that to be worth the risk. It was worth for me to bear my soul. This thing started out, truth be told, the origin behind me even doing Ask Rome. I was having a conversation with somebody who was no longer here on this plateau, on this earth. Richard Pug Ward, Brown Water Porter, God rest his soul. We adjusted the interview that he did for my podcast, and I'm grateful for him to be on that. But we talked, and I was telling him, and I got this idea of like doing, a show where I'm on camera and I get asked questions. So to start it off, I'm going to ask myself these questions in kind of hopes that it would get to a point where people would email it in or write a message in, DM it, whatever. And then I would answer that on this show, and I'm still open to that. But he was like, I thought about doing the same thing. I just felt, he was just like, I don't know. I think it was something along the lines of he wasn't sure about wanting to do it. But I was like, for me, I had just left Miami and moved to Georgia. I was in Warner Robins for about 10 months, and I didn't have therapy. I left Miami in therapy, and I liked therapy. I loved it, actually. I loved what it was doing for me. I loved what it showed me about myself and how I was looking externally for validation on a whole lot of shit. And so when I got to doing the show, I was doing what I was doing in therapy, and I still do that, to where I speak what's on my mind. I just have to get started with a topic so that I can speak that. And I find it very freeing to do it. So to me, that was a risk worth taking, to bare my soul, even some parts of me that, they might have disclosed stuff about, family early on, because I was trying to figure this shit out. And maybe in a manner that probably wasn't the best delivery, at that time, but that's what part of growth is. And I own that. So those early episodes definitely came from a place of pain and being bitter, but now to understand that it was never about anyone else but me and what I was doing, what I was allowing to happen to me. And I'm just grateful, I'm saying? I'm just really grateful for that experience and to be able to go through all of that. But I find those risks to be worth it. And if you got a dream, go after it. I don't care how old you are, how young you feel you are, go after it. If you want to go for that raise, if you want to get that new position, no one else thinks you're going to get it. Who's to say you won't? You get the same probability for failure by not doing it. So you might as well just do it. At least you'll know. And very well, it might be better for you. So just, it's like I believe it's just we fear rejection. If we didn't fear rejection, what else would we do? As far as like trying to do our goals. Fuck rejection. Look at failure as lessons. All right, you need to work at this. This thing didn't work, so let's go here. All right, we went here, we bumped our head. All right, let's go that way. Instead of looking at it like, oh, this shit ain't for me. Imagine if you were conscious enough when you were trying to learn how to walk and you fell. We all be crawling right now. But you kept trying. Your brain stayed with it and figured it out. And your brain's gonna do the same thing, whatever it is that you want to do. So take the risk. You know what I'm saying? Whatever that is in your life that you got going on. That to me is what I find to be worth it. The risks that I mentioned in this clip.